All right, welcome everyone to the Pro Trader Room Plus. We're here for the oil open, the U.S. market open. My name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director at 10 Minute Trade. Please remember, all the trades we discuss for educational purposes. Okay, just looked at Canada retail sales. Absolutely no movement in their currencies. I don't know why the Canadian currency is pretty much untradeable, but it is. It just is an untradeable currency. Probably 90% of their events just don't move any markets. They don't move the Canadian market. Anyway, looked like the 8 o'clock gold was good, Nitin, was it? I was not watching it this morning, but looking at the candle, I'm thinking it was a good move. I didn't do a deep dive, so I figured I'd ask you. And we are streaming on YouTube this morning. Let's put our oil on. CL. Oh 0526 is the current contract. Oil down 96 cents. I thought it was down much more than that. Let's take a look at something. 30-minute oil chart. So, okay, oil made a new low last night at 10 p.m. and it's been bullish ever since. And then about 7 o'clock in the morning, 6:30, it had a big drop, 50% it looks like, to the previous market open. And that's where it sits right now. So I would think oil can go any direction on the oil market open. And, we haven't been making a lot of money on the oil market open breakout trade, but we've made a few dollars on it. And again, I'll say it's not a official, it's not an official setup. I just happen to be coming here to keep trying it. That's really what the reality is. We could start the open trade room at 9 o'clock. We really could start. If we're just going to trade the open, we could start after oil opens. But since the breakout's been working a little bit, I figure what the heck, we'll come in and I'll keep trying it. Eventually, it's not going to work. I'm going to lose interest. Um, Not much has changed in the world to this morning. And, there's not much you can say other than we're all awaiting the day. That's all I can say. We're all awaiting that
Feds
wonderful
Wallace
day.
says, I thought I'd be dissenting after the last jobs report.
Canadian retail
So Feds
sales
Waller
didn't
currently
move the
speaking on
market.
CNBC.
What else? There's not a lot of news this morning in terms of official news. Is virtually none, really. You have your rig counts today, and that's about it. That is about it. So we're watching oil. Oil is pretty much dead center in the middle of highs and lows.
Waller says closure of Hormuz suggested that more inflation pressure is possible. And Waller says,
So
based on the jobs report, again, I was planning on
the first thing
dissenting,
you can
but
figure
since
on
then,
is
inflation
prices are
has
going to go
become more of a
way up
concern.
on everything. We may have shortages of products as well. A lot of things flow through the Straits of Hormuz.
Waller
Prices will
says, I
go
also
up
now expect
as
labor force growth to be close
companies
to
try to
zero,
figure
which
out
changes the
alternative ways of
break-even level
shipping
for job growth.
products. It'll be double, maybe more. I don't know. The cost of shipping different ways. Um, so the effects,
Wallace says, my brain
we don't even know
understands the
what they
jobs
are
math,
yet.
but I can't say it's okay.
Gold, incredibly, gold is now below 5,000. I mean, it's beyond comprehension what's going on in the commodity space. It's
Wallace says,
literally
zero job growth does not seem
beyond
normal, but
comprehension.
that is what the math may
What's
indicate will keep the
fascinating
unemployment rate
is look
stable.
what gold did a couple of months ago, like a month ago. It did something very similar back at the
Well, it
end
adds, if
of
oil stays high for months on end,
January.
at some points it
It
bleeds
had a
into core
bigger
inflation.
drop than we had the other day. It's pretty incredible. One day. $7,000 ticks. It's 100 ticks for a dollar, right? Gold is $10 a tick. And it's 10 ticks per dollar. So that's quite the sell-off in one day. And we had 2 days of intense sell-off in gold. I'm sure if you look at
Wallace says,
silver,
a
it's
high and
probably the same.
persistent oil shock would not have a transitory impact on inflation. So again, that's Wallace saying it. A high and persistent oil
5,000.
shock would not have a transitory impact on inflation.
5,000 ticks, right? And that was just 2 days ago, over the course of 2 days. That's some serious unwinding. So, what do you expect gold to do today? Well, today it's up $60 and it's in the middle. It's a little bit
Wallace says,
closer
I
to the
don't know where
low
this will
right
go,
now
but caution is
of the day,
warranted.
but it's
And Wallace
still
says the
very
Fed cannot
interesting
look
for
through
magnets
a
today.
large and
Gold
persistent
could
oil
be a very
shock.
good
At this
magnet.
point, caution for the Fed is
Oil,
warranted.
I would expect oil to go up today. That this war is not going well for anyone, really. This is not what the world wanted or needs. I don't think, but
Well, it does say that
we
caution now
obliterated all their
doesn't mean
nuclear
stay put for the
capability,
rest
and
of the
then we
year.
didn't.
So again, that's Wallace saying
you
that
figure it out,
caution
'cause I
now
can't.
does not mean we'll stay put for the rest of the year.
We're watching oil. I'm going to put a reverse continuation on the chart.
Wallace says, I would advocate cuts again later in the year if the labor
Reverse
market is weak.
continue. Just one position, a 25 tick target and a 25 tick stop. So that's just a reverse continue. And we'll keep working on account number 37. We'll label it CL reverse continue. CL reverse continue. This is a trade we generally don't take, but we put a reverse continue on every chart, and I think you should put a magnet on every chart also, or on most of your charts. Charts that you like trading the instrument. So
China
right
tells
now,
Apple that it commits to building stable supply chain.
we're looking at a reverse continue on oil, and we'll do our breakout trade for the oil open. Click News Trader. We're going to put a second strategy on the chart. It's a breakout. We're triggering the breakout. I do have a
says,
template,
I think once you get past tariffs,
we're
inflation
triggering the
comes
breakout
down.
at 859.59. The bracket we've been using is 15.
Wallace says the Fed is making progress on taming structural inflation,
Position
which
1 is
may
a
be
1,
close to
position
2%
2
now,
is
but
a
it's
1.
being
That
held
means we have
higher by
one
tariffs.
contract for each position. Target 1 is
Wallace
8
says,
ticks.
I do not think there is a need to consider
Target
rate
2 is
hikes.
20 ticks. And if it hits the first target, the target 1 stop move, I usually put it to break even That's an optional feature. If your first target gets hit, you can move the stop. And then our stop, we're going to go with 20 ticks today. I'm going to label the trade like I always do. Today we'll call it the oil open, CL open. And right now I'm going to leave it on sim. I'm going to put the time on 0, and we're going to trigger the trade early to look at the
Waller
brackets.
says markets have not shown any unanchoring of expectations.
Order submitted.
And we're going to turn off the
Order
trade
canceled.
for a second. Right click strategy. Highlight the strategy breakout strategy, right? You have to make sure you've turned off the trade so you can adjust it. There is an enabled button inside the strategy. I only use it when I'm editing. I don't use it ever to turn on a real trade. It's safer to turn the trade on from the control panel. But if I forget to turn it off in the control panel, I can turn it off from inside the software. And I want to go to optional and disable the line, vertical line on entry, apply it and OK it. Now we'll redo our bracket
Order
early.
submitted.
Okay, the market's
Order
moving,
canceled.
but the bracket should be okay if there's an immediate fill at the open.
Waller says that if tariff effects don't roll off by the
So I'm
second
going to
half of the year,
right-click,
it will be
click
tricky.
strategy, go back to the breakout. 8:59.59 is our trigger. The bracket's 15. I'll go over it one more time. It's a breakout trade. Position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. Target 1 is 8. Target 2 is 20. The stop is 20. Target 1 stop move. You could do BE minus 3. You could do BE. It's no law that you have to do exactly what I do.
An Al
And
Jazeera
then label
correspondent
the
on X
trade.
says Israeli airstrike on the
CL
outskirts of
breakout I
Bani
like
Hayyan
better
town
than
in
CL
southern
open.
Lebanon.
I'm just used to BRK seeing it. And then I'm going to put it on account number 37, apply it and OK it. Put the chart trader on account 37 and turn the trade on. So now we're ready with oil. Now, because I'm not really going to be trading oil once the open is done, I'm not putting a magnet on oil. I'm not going to trade. I don't hang around trading oil. It's just not one of the instruments I really like trading
Waller
that
says
much.
that a shock of the right sort could push companies to start cutting labor.
So we did pass an eval yesterday. So now we have 2 funded accounts we're going to be working on. I didn't pay and set up my new funded account yet. So we'll do that for next week. And then next week, I think we'll talk about how if you have more than one prop account, how you might want to think about organizing them. We have too many. Right now, I just have too many prop accounts. I don't need as many as I have, to be honest. I went a little overboard. So I'll never pay to reset one if I blow one up. I'll just let it reset because I have a lot of other accounts I can pull on. We have a brand new Lucid account because Lucid lets you trade corn, and they seem to have a quote unquote generous payout system. So next week I'll start trading Lucid. When I say organizing prop accounts, what I mean is you might want to have one account for magnets. You might want to have one account for risk, high risk trades, depending on how many accounts you have. A best of the best account, that's my funded account. Trade just the best opportunities. Now, let's put our YM on like we always do in the morning. 0626. Let me take a look. So I'll tell you what I have right now. So I have two end of the day accounts, Bull and Ox. I don't use them a lot. Um, One of them is up 1,000 roughly, and the other one is a 25K, one is a 50K, and they are more limited in the number of contracts you can trade. The rules are more stringent until you build them up. That's why I haven't used them that much. Then I have 35, number 35, which is just a standard regular, 35, 36, standard regular account, 38 got blown yesterday, I believe. Yeah. And 36, I have two that were blown, 38 and 37. And I thought that one of them just rebuild, but I might be wrong about that. I'll have to check that. So 37 and 38 I cannot use right now. So we have our funded account, which is up 2,000. All right. It was up a little bit more than that. I think I'm down about 300 this week in that account, honestly. And it needs to go Bullnox. What do you got to do to get a Bullnox payout? 3,600. It's either 3,600, I believe, or 3,500. So it's not quite there yet. It's got a ways to go. All right. So oil this morning, which is not a vetted trade and is just a shot in the dark still. It has been working on the breakout. That's on just a regular prop account that we use on risk. The YM, which has been trading pretty well, the YM helped get the other account funded. So the YM, I'll put a reverse continue on it. And we'll use a 35 tick stop and a 35 tick target. I would put a reverse continuation on every chart. It would be the first thing I do on every single chart. All you need is a position, not 35. Position 1, target is 35, and the stop is 35. All right, that's a trade. That's a setup. You have a target, a stop, and a position, number of contracts. And we'll label it YM reverse continue. And then choose the account you're trading it in. Let me look and see where I want to trade it. I think I kind of like where the YM is this morning. I'm going to trade it funded. I'm debating what I want to trade. Yep, I think I'll trade the YM funded this morning. So the reverse continue. Will be on our funded. And then I'll put the high of day, low of day magnet on the YM. First thing I'm going to do is label it. I'll go down and label it. Label YM magnet. Everything on the YM will be funded this morning. High of day, low of day. And this morning I'm just trading one contract at the moment. I have a 50 tick stop, and position 1 is a 1, and my target is -3. 3 ticks before it gets to the high or the low. That's where it will exit me. I've labeled it. I've chosen the account I'm trading. I'm going to apply it and OK it. If I were now going to adjust my orders, I've turned on the trade. I'm going to enter on the long side above 500. I'm going to enter on the short side below 50. And right now I'm not putting it on automatic. If you want it to be an automated trade, just turn the auto mode purple. Press the button and turn it purple. I don't want to trade quite this early this morning. I want to wait till we get closer to the open. Can everybody hear me okay? Nobody's saying a word. Everybody alive out there? Okay. And while we're waiting, I'll put a reverse continue on the RTY chart because we will be trading RTY later at the 9:30 open. So we'll just save a little time right now and put a reverse continue on the RTY chart. Change the breakout to a reverse continue. One target, 35 ticks, 35 tick stop. And we'll scroll down and label it RTY, reverse continue. And then the account I'll trade the RTY on. I'm going to look. So the RTY has been doing pretty well. Let's trade the RTY in our new Lucid account. Let's do that. All right, so right now we have our reverse continue on the RTY. All right, we'll do more setup on the RTY in a few minutes. We're watching oil push up from the low. I don't know how my coffee got so cold. I need a USB coffee charger. Is there such a thing? Has anyone ever seen it? I never did a Google search for it. A USB coffee warmer. That's what I need. I would think there would be. I wish there was one you could put a Dunkin' Donuts cup into, but anything would just ruin the cup because it's paper. I don't use like a mug. I use like the original cup I got at the store. Most people would get sick if they knew the way I drank coffee. I use coffee for a week, the same coffee. Like I'll buy 2 giant extra larges at Dunkin' Pumpkin, and then I'll mess with it. I'll add stuff to it, and I'll put it into smaller cups. It's like an insanity. It's like mental illness with coffee. But two large, ultra extra large Dunkin' Donuts
The effective Fed
takes me
funds
through
rate
most
was
of the week.
unchanged at 3.64%
But the
for
fact that I'll
March
let it
19th.
sit in the fridge for a week, some people are very serious about their coffee. I'm obviously not serious about my coffee. Serious, all I care about is it's hot. If it's not hot, I can't drink it. Other than that, I mean, if you can drink Keurig coffee and you're just accept the fact that you're just drinking a cup of plastic, then you can't make believe you're serious about your coffee. A serious coffee drinker does not use a Keurig because all it is drinking plastic. So let's see if our,
Order submitted.
oh, did I try and trade an account I couldn't trade in? Yeah, I did. Darn it. I goofed. I've been goofing every morning on oil. I goofed. Maybe that was a favor. Maybe that was a favor. I thought 37 was good. No, it's not. I goofed. I traded a blown account. My mistake, folks. My goof. My goof. 37. I can't use 37. I meant to use 36. I'm a dope. All right. I think it saved me from a bad trade. That was a bad whipsaw. That was a pretty bad whipsaw. I don't think that would have worked. Did anyone trade that? I don't think the oil open is all that great to trade. And maybe next week it's seen its last day. I don't think it's worth trading. I think the 8 o'clock gold is more interesting than the oil open. Francis, I don't know that that move would have been safe. Look at the move. Let me show you the video. I think in sim, you don't have slippage in sim. You have to remember that. Sim is not real trading. And when Ninja Trader Sim has a whipsaw, it's nowhere near what the whipsaw would be in real life. So let me just show you this move. I think it was an unsafe breakout. Oh, negative 400. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, I think it was a whipsaw loser. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. That I agree. Sorry, I misread your 400. Looking at the move, I mean, you can tell it was a bad whipsaw. Now, any trade can whip, but if most of our winners were only a couple of ticks this week, we didn't have very many decent winners. So let's see if our, watch the move. Oh, did I try and trade an account I couldn't trade in? I can't tell. Yeah, I did. I really can't tell from the move itself because I thought it looked whippier. So let's see if our, oh, did I try and trade an account I couldn't trade in? It didn't go very far. Let me see if it didn't look like a very big move. So at 01, that's your trade candle. The size of the trade candle was 20 ticks. So it would have filled us and not hit the target, and then it reversed and stopped us out. So our bracket was 15, so it would have filled short. It then immediately reversed, right? And then immediately it reversed. And it would have been a stop. There's no question that was a stop out. That trade did not work. Okay. I'm done with oil. That's it for me for oil this morning. It's a, it's 9 o'clock already. So we're watching the YM. All right. We're watching the YM. And let's put the MNQ. Let's get our recording restarted. Let's go into our normal open now. Let me get the video going. Start a new video. Welcome to the Pro Trade Room Plus, U.S. Market Open. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures. All right, so we're changing our left chart to MNQ0626. Right now, I'm going to indicator, and I'm just putting net change display on points. The NASDAQ calculates on points, not on ticks. All right, not on ticks. And the NASDAQ is down. The market's been decimated. With another forever war, maybe. That's what the market is worried about. How do you fight an enemy that's had 45 years to bury everything? I'm not sure. I've been watching some interesting videos. You don't know what is true and what isn't. But some of the videos that I've seen about what's going on inside Iran is the videos that I've seen are that the Iranian authorities have told people if they go outside, basically they're gonna kill them. They're restricting their cell phone use to 2 minutes. Now, I don't know if this is true. This is just something I saw this morning. Cell phone use to 2 minutes. They trace their cell phones, and I believe internet is mostly down.
The
That's
ECB is said to
one
ask
news
banks how
report
the
I saw
Iran
this
war
morning.
impacts their clients and operations.
I don't know what is true and what isn't, but it would not be a surprise if they just killed people out on the streets. DHS has killed people on the streets, not certainly thousands like the Iranian government may have done. But it's not a great thing to kill your own citizens on the streets. That's not something anyone's in favor of. All right. Watching the MNQ on the left. So we're going to put a reverse continue on the MNQ. So what does it say for the price of oil and the strait being open? There doesn't seem to be any hope that the strait is going to be open soon. That's the one thing that it looks like. The strait will not be open soon. A couple of contracts on this reverse continuation, a target of 50. Market is not ultra volatile at the moment. Stop of 75. This is just a reverse continuation. MNQ, that's the label. MNQ reverse continue. And we'll trade this funded. So we have a reverse continue. Turn that on in the control panel. All right, then we have our default breakout open trade. Click News Trader, go down to the template, load. I'm going to load MNQ new open. MNQ new open, right click. Rename it to today's date. 320 and then load it. And then we have a breakout trade, 35 bracket, a target of 30, a target of 100. The stop
I've seen
right
comments from
now is
Ukraine's President Zelensky saying that
125.
Ukraine is to have a bilateral meeting with the US on Saturday.
And target one stop BE. Target one stop move BE, and it's labeled breakout MNQ open. Going to put the time on 0 for a moment and look at the bracket. Make sure the vertical line is off. It is. How big is our bracket on a sim chart? You always check your brackets on sim charts
Order submitted. Order
with the
canceled.
software in sim so you don't accidentally put yourself into a live trade early, right? You don't want to trade
Order
early, do you?
submitted. Order canceled.
So now I'll put the time back to 9:29:59. That's our trigger time. Activation. 35 is the bracket. The number of positions and contracts is up to you. All right. My target one is 30 today. Not using very big targets at the moment. I'm gonna leave it 30 and 100 today. 125 on our stop and BE on the target one stop move. And we're funded. Trade it and are funded. Apply it, okay it. So our breakout is ready. Make sure your chart trader is on the right account. And I will put a magnet on. Maybe after the open, we'll trade some signals this morning. Maybe we'll stay till 10. Let's see how the open goes. So I'll throw a magnet on. You could do a high of day, low of day this morning, but I'm not trading the MNQ at the moment, high of day, low of day. But I'll set it up as if I want to, I can, because it's very easy to change it. So I'm just going to do a three contract MNQ trade with a 100 tick stop. Three position magnet. Defaulting if it does the high of day, low of day. If I take a signal trade, and I'll put that funded, I will label the magnet MNQ, but I will trade the MNQ through the reverse continue. That's generally the way that I trade the signals and the MNQ in the morning when it's not the breakout. But you never know what opportunity is going to arise. So if you set up your magnet, set it up so if you decide you want to trade it, you can. Now, ultimately, that means configuring all the buttons. So if you're going to create a generic template for yourself, you can configure almost all the buttons. You have ARS management. That's the ARS enter now button. Position 1 is a 1. Then we're trading the MNQ, so we'll make it a 2 or a 3. You make your target, say 50 ticks, and make your stop, say 100 ticks. That's configuring the button for a 1 contract trade, 1 position trade. That's the ARS enter button. And then if you want to do a reverse continue from inside the magnet trade, you can. And you can configure it just like you configured the external reverse continue. 2 contracts on position 1. We had a stop of 75 or 100 and a target of 40 or 50. All right. Now what you could do, so you have a little bit better configuration of more of the features, go to template and save that. And maybe you want to call it MNQ with buttons or something like that, with but, and date it today. And then you don't have to go back and reconfigure it the next time. You just load your MNQ with but 32026. So you don't have to do all that configuration except once. You just have to remember. Now, you should resave the template after you click apply. You should always click apply first and then save the template. So MNQ generic with but 32026, double click it, resave it. Now it's correct. All we did was configure buttons so that when you normally turn on a magnet, when it's high of day, low of day, you'll get your orders, on the chart at the high of day, which is very far away, or at the low of day, which is pretty far away. But I turned it on so that it's set to off. That will still trigger VWAP and high of day, low of day signals. That's one of the most popular ways I like to use the magnet. I like to generate signals. If after the open we get close to the high and the low, I can always change the control panel to high of day, low of day. It'll put the orders on the chart and you could get ready to do a high of day, low of day magnet. Okay. I think we'll have I'm waiting for another version to fix a few more things that need to be fixed. And then I think we'll have another master class on the magnet. We'll just go through the whole thing again because there's a lot of features in the software and I want people to know how to use most of them. All right. So figure that maybe, you know what, we're going to have a challenge next week, the magnet challenge. So that'll be our magnet masterclass. You can count on it. It'll 100% be next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday and Thursday, 100%. So you can count on that. So right now, I still have a RTY to set up. I have to keep an eye on my YM. I want to turn on the auto trade on the YM. YM has a lot of magnets this morning. If you don't want to use high of day, low of day, you got S1, you got PP, you got the VWAP looking pretty smooth there. RTY, we have a reverse continue on the chart, right? 35 tick target, 35 tick stop. We're going to put our range trade on. That's been trading pretty well. It's been hitting target one and reversing. Maybe we have to rethink our stop. Maybe. Going to load the range template. Load. Go to RTY. And all credit where credit is due. This is pretty much Langford's trade. 925 range start. 6 ticks above the range, 6 ticks below the range. Make sure your show range graphics is checked. Then go all the way up to trade type. It should be range trade. End it at 930. Choose the number of positions you want to trade. I trade 1 and 1. Position 1 and position 2 are both one contract. Target 1 is 10. Target 2 is 20. I've been using a 35 stop. I'm just thinking something. Target one stop move is BE, and I'll trade it funded. So our range will start calculating at 925. It looks like a decent day. Good day to actually do an RTY magnet if you wanted to do a magnet. Make sure your chart trader is on the right chart. It has to match the account you're trading or you won't see your orders. I've got too many accounts trading the same account. RTY, I was doing Lucid, so let's put our range into Lucid. That makes sense. That's why there was too many accounts. The range goes into Lucid. Who is Ray here? I think I completely got something wrong. All right, so that's what we got going. All right, we've got an MNQ breakout open. We've got a YM possible magnet. Every chart has a reverse continuation, and we have a YM range trade is the main trade. Looks like a good day for a magnet on the YM, doesn't it? Because, maybe we get to the high, maybe we get to the low. So you can put a magnet on. You can always watch it. And you can put one contract. You don't have to risk a lot. Put one contract of 40 tick stop. We'll put it in Lucid. You don't have to turn it on until you're ready, right? We'll label it RTY magnet. And we'll put it on our Lucid. Did someone tell me? Oh, Lucid looks that color. Let me make sure that I've done this properly. So I've got Lucid, magnet, range, and reverse continue. Okay. Does anyone else, Nitin, you trade Lucid, don't you? Or did you just start trading them? Did somebody tell me that Lucid doesn't have an eval? Am I imagining that? That Lucid does not have an eval? That if you make X profit right away, you can do a payout? Or you have to do the eval first? So it has an eval. But, oh, I know what it was. Lucid has an eval, but there's no charge for the funded. Is that what it was? That's what it was. Okay. Okay. All right. I totally had that wrong in my head. So, trying to figure out why our YouTube streams are unwatched. So I'm using AI to help me. It is a frickin' full-time job to do the things that you need to do these days so that you can get your streams to be watched. No joke. So I also post on TikTok a couple of times a week. Not one person has viewed a video. Now, it's a brand new TikTok account. Why would anybody view 10-minute trades on TikTok? So I've just, we need a social media expert handling social media. It's not a 5-minute job. Nothing that you can do well is a 5-minute job. So our RTY range is generating. I think everyone would agree to that. That if you try to do something as a 5-minute job, you're probably going to do a crappy job. And you're probably going to realize you're not putting enough time in, right? The NQ is doing its 5 minutes before the open gambit, right? It's had a very big move up. Now, I never, no, I did put an MNQ magnet on. There was nothing to generate a signal. If I put our ARS system on, signals would be generated. I have the software set so it generates VWAP reversals and high of day, low of day reversals. That's how I have it set. Okay? That's just the way it is. That's the way God planned it. That's the way He meant it to be. Billy Preston. I went through a period a couple of months back where every sentence I said triggered a song in my head. That just stopped. All of a sudden, it just stopped. And songs just stopped generating in my head for a couple of months. I think they're coming back. I think they're coming back. It's much more enjoyable when sentences trigger songs. So we're waiting for the open.
According to Chinese state TV, China's Wang Yi holds a phone call with China's Bonnet where they discuss the Middle East issues.
That's the way. So I'm watching the RTY. I'm watching the YM.
One minute now until we get the market on open imbalance.
1 minute. It's a fairly big range on the RTY. I don't want a long fill though, either. I don't want to be long on I don't want to be long on anything. I don't want to be long on anything. But that's me.
10 seconds for the move.
I think that we're in a powder keg. That's what I think.
Order submitted. Order submit. Order filled. Order
Markets
filled.
The
on open
RTY
imbalanced S&P
missed
500
the
buy side
target.
Order
39
filled.
million,
Order
Nasdaq
filled.
My
100 buy
goodness,
side
the
184 million,
RTY
Dow 30
worked.
sell side
I thought
43
we were
million,
doomed
Mag
again
7
on the
buy side of 90
RTY.
million.
Looked like the MNQ just did a fast reversal, hit the first target and reversed. I have to really, I mean, we make money every morning on the MNQ, but it doesn't make much. RTY magnet is still going. RTY range is over. So I'm getting rid of that. RTY made money again. The MNQ breakout can be removed. That's over. Is the MNQ going to go test the low? That's the question.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Now, I did not mean to have the stop so small on my MNQ. So let's wait a second.
Order submitted.
I want to be above.
Order filled.
All right, we got that second scalp. I think the
Order
MNQ
submitted.
is going to go test the low. At least part of the way. At least part of the way. So I'll get my stop to safety. And now if it pulls back on me, I don't care. So I'll try to trail as it tests the low and try not to get too close because it could chop a bit here. It could chop a bit.
Order filled.
All right, so we're back in profit, at least probably flat because of expenses on the NQ. You need a bigger stop on the NQ if you're going to put a scalp on. You just need a bigger stop if you're going to put a scalp on. So you need to change your MNQ reverse continue. And that stop should be like 130 ticks. You'd want it big enough so you don't get stopped out instantly just because your stop is in the wrong place or too small. You know what I mean? Now the magnet. There we go. So you got to be careful scalping in the morning. It's very difficult. It really is. The YM just was a VWAP trade this morning. We have to do more of those, I think. Rather, I like to usually wait for the high of day, low of day. Like to wait for high of day, low of day. MNQ, that signal was too early. Okay, I don't count that signal because that signal was at the open. Now, are we going to go test the low? It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's the momentum seems there. The price is not. The price follow through. It's kind of chopping. I think it's going to get there, but it is risky.
Order submitted.
There is risk. Now, where does your stop need to be? Above the last two wicks would make me feel a little bit better. It's hard to scalp the open. No matter how you look at it, it's really, really hard to scalp the open. It's not enjoyable. I don't think it's very enjoyable. So if we get some cooperation here, I don't feel like hanging around that much in a scalp. And we're not getting the kind of cooperation I want to see. The RTY looks like it may want to do that magnet low. That's a possible. That is a possible. You could put on your high of day, low of day, right? Turn the magnet on. If you get the fill, life isn't going to end, right? Life isn't going to end if you get a fill. It's an eval. It's an eval. Now the MNQ, it's just not following through. So it's hard to say. It's just not following through. Nitin, that's awesome.
China seeks more coordination with France on the Middle East war.
Very nice, Francis. The YM had a fantastic signal on the VWAP reversal, and I missed it. I just wasn't watching the YM. I wasn't watching the YM. That was a fabulous signal. That really was good. The MNQ is just not going to work. You just know it. You
State
just
news
know it. I'm
agency
going to
citing a
close
source
it,
notes the
I
NATO
think.
mission in Iraq is to start evacuating temporarily due
If
to
it
regional
doesn't start selling
circumstances.
off, I'm going to close it because it's just not working to the downside. It's just not working. Darn it. It's not going to work. It's really hard to close a trade early, isn't it? It's one of the hardest things to do. I do think it's going to test the low. It just might not do it when I'm ready. You know, it may do it a little bit later. Now, if it'll give me an opportunity to expand my target and move my stop to safety, I would. Right now, it's not enough profit to get my stop to safety. It's just not there. It's close. It's not enough. Just not enough. I'm going to probably close this MNQ trade.
Order filled.
Let's watch it. I'll watch it. Let's see if it can break S1. It's got the momentum. It's just the price hasn't been following through. Stop. It's about a $200 loss. We're only up 48 bucks, and we've probably spent close to that in expenses. It's trying to make me think it's still going to go down, and then it doesn't follow through at the S1. So it may just go without me. It may go without me. Now the RTY had a good open, so we made money on the RTY open. We made 20 bucks on the MNQ open and 20 bucks scalping it. We're probably flat on the MNQ because of the expense. And the YM, we didn't take a trade. Hi, Ranjit. We did not take a trade. Now, we made a good decision on the MNQ, just totally based on the price action. It just wasn't breaking the S1. That was my only reason for getting out. It had multiple tries. It may still do it, but let's see if it would have stopped us out. Right now, it hasn't stopped us out, which would have been above that wick. My structure, market structure stop is right here. So in theory, now you have your best entry. But also the YM is up and the RTY is up. I don't really want to go short when all the markets are up, moving up on this particular candle. There's our stop. So we would have gotten stopped. Sometimes, you use what you think is good analysis, and it's good analysis. Not chasing signals 5 minutes after the signal is also usually a good decision. Now, the YM still could test the low, but none of the markets have done that. And we're now 10 minutes past the open. So it's a much harder trade now, in my opinion. If we had signals at S1, that would have generated a long signal right there. If we don't have S1 signals, but we do have standalone signals. See, I know how to read. I'm pretty good at reading where a signal should be. I better be because I designed it. When you use the standalone mode, there's a lot more false signals. That's the downside of the standalone mode. The best signals are when you have nice trending bars. The worst signals are when you have discombobulated. I call them discombobulated bars. See, you have a little bit. This is not badly discombobulated, but you've got a mixture of ups and downs. Here you have a nice little collection of one direction, a nice little collection of one direction. That kind of smooth movement always gives the best signals. So if you're looking, especially if you're using ARS mode, look for smooth areas. Just ignore the other signals. If you've got less formed bars, the signals will be worse. Okay? The signals will be worse. Like in an area like this, where the momentum is questionable, I don't like to take signals at all in that kind of an area. Okay? I'm looking for
Trump
areas
onto
that are
social
nice
calls
and
NATO
fully
cowards
formed
for not
above and
joining the
below.
fight against Iran.
Momentum for the best signals. Those are the best signls. Then they don't
Refers to
always
NATO
work.
as a paper
Okay?
tiger.
They don't always work. And always, not always, but good signals are off of the VWAP or close to the VWAP, right? This did not test the VWAP because it's not on the off mode. It's on generate every signal mode. Okay. Sometimes you'll get a great signal and it just doesn't work. This is a great ARS signal, but it just didn't go anywhere. You might have gotten in. You might not have even gotten in until the third candle, the second candle after the signal. So we'll choose the worst place to get in. I don't ever choose the best place because I don't want to lie about the possible profit. And then it only went 40 ticks, which is not very much for the MNQ. That's a pretty small signal. Compare it to the next signal. And I don't know that most people would have even taken this one. It was after a little bit of weirdness. But it was associated with nice extra volume. So it generated a signal. Let's say you took the worst entry, that you're just taking all the signals, or a lot of them. That was a good one. 228 ticks. All right. One of our big filters is when it's off, it's just generating high of day, low of day. Now the frickin' MNQ just made our low. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Yeah, look at that. Um, it did not get to the VWAP, so there will not be a signal here. All right.
According to data and market assessments,
YM.
no tankers loaded with crude oil have sailed through Hormuz in the past 24 hours.
Right at the VWAP. A signal should be coming soon. This is a tough, YM is tough, right? Because it's been in the middle of the highs and lows since the open. So I'm not dying to take a YM trade, right? It's not showing me a great propensity for direction at the moment. Okay? So you want to keep that in mind when you're thinking about taking a signal. Taking a signal, the best signals are in the fastest moving markets. But there are a lot of signal rules. Don't take a signal right at the open. That's an invalid signal. You can't trust it any more than you can trade and trust an entry. It's like taking a breakout. That's a breakout at the open. Yes, our MNQ works a lot, but you want to try and filter your entry. That's a high risk entry. The idea with signals is to make it lower risk, right? So one of the first things you want to understand is when might you see a signal get generated? You're going to have a momentum change in the squeeze, 100%, always. There will be no signal generated if there's not a momentum difference in the squeeze bars, okay? That's one main thing you can always look for. You're also, if you test the level we're looking at, high of day and VWAP, then signals will generate. Here we tested the VWAP. First we tested it up. So the first thing the software is looking for is a reverse signal, and it generated it. And it generated it properly because you had a down momentum bar. But, and I'm in discussions with the programmer right now, I'm improving the signals, always. Improving signals might be a lifetime job. No joke. No one has signals that work 100%. So it's something that can always be worked on. And him and I are having a big discussion. I want a simple filter that I've already built into the software to filter out
Wall Street Journal reports that the
both
US
of
is
these
sending 3
signals. I
warships
can
to the Middle
filter out
East.
both of these signals. Let's see if it works. Let me show you something. Let me see. If it doesn't work, it's just, I'm watching this trade here. Is it going to break the S1? Now it looks like it may want to go test the low. Do you want to chance it again with
Wall
a
Street Journal
stop
are
above
citing
that
an
high?
unnamed US official on the
Look what
warship
it's
move to the
doing.
Middle
It's
East.
still
Reading into it,
stopping at
the
the
Pentagon is
S1.
sending 3 warships and thousands of additional Marines to the Middle East, even as Trump insists that he won't put American boots on the ground in Iran, according to US officials. So
Order
roughly
submitted.
22 to 2,500 Marines from the California-based USS Boxer Amphibious Ready Group and the 11th
It's a
Marine
pretty big
Expeditionary
stop.
Unit
I'm
are
not so
heading to the US
sure I
Central
want to
Command,
take that big of a
responsible for all
loss.
American forces in the Middle East, according to an official. So this is
It's
the
my
second
funded
massive
account.
deployment of Marines in the past week, after the Pentagon sent the
So I could
Japan-based
put my
USS Tripoli,
stop pretty
31st
close
MEU, to the region.
to break even. I trailed it too close. I think we're going to get this low. It just might do it. My timing just might still be off. Top of the wick. Top of the wick. Not even the top of the wick. You filthy slob. So I'm only scalping one contract. So, oh my God, it missed me by one tick, folks. It missed us by one tick. Now go down and make me look smart in the room. Make me look like a genius. Now we'll trail a little more. Top of the candle to the low. Increase the target a little bit. Trail a little bit more. Right? Stop going up.
Order
You
filled.
filthy animal. All right. So we're up over 100 now on the MNQ. Now it's almost worth scalping. That was almost worth scalping. I'm probably going to stop now. I had 3 winners and 1 loser on the scalps. That's pretty good. Not bad. Not bad. It is somewhat choppy, but it's still going down. If you use a really big stop and just watch it, it's going to test the low. It's my funded account, so I don't, if I'm wrong, I don't want to lose $400 if you follow me, right? I don't mind doing that in an eval. Now, my YM is unfunded also, and I don't trust the YM right now.
Also
If I'm
from the
going to
Wall Street
stay here
Journal,
and
Iran
trade
say that strikes have
signals
failed to halt
on the
their weapons
YM,
production.
I would do it, do it in a regular old account. Not, I don't want to risk it in my funded account. My funded account's up $300. No, it's up 120. Here it goes, you crazy nut. It's going. It's going. It's going.
So we have posted both those Wall Street Journal articles out to the feed for those interested.
YM. The YM, I was changing the account, so the magnet, and then the YM reverse continue. Let's get that. I'm putting the YM in the Lucid account. Let's get that account passed as soon as possible. That's what we want to do. Because supposedly they have a very reasonable payout structure. That's what I'm hearing from people. Now, so the RTY is in Lucid. The MNQ is still funded. So the funded account is 52,212. We need about $1,400 more in that account. So everybody's sticking around. I'm very glad. So it means you're interested in what I'm saying. All right. So you like the signal talk. Am I correct? Am I assuming not a single person has left? So I assume I'm giving you some good insights, right? That's what I assume. If you want to ask me something, now's a good time. Ask me. So I've been looking at signals, right? I've got a YM, high of day, low of day also set up. And I did explain, I just don't think the YM has great direction. Yeah, it's been going up 40 and 50 ticks here and there. And here goes, no, there's no, here goes our test of the low. You just have to have faith in your analysis. I didn't need to take 3 scalps. I just needed to use a bigger stop on the MNQ. I don't have University of Michigan unless I've lost my mind. There was no U of M today.
The Italy-German 10-year yield gap widened
There's no
to
U of M.
91 basis points, the most since
No,
June.
no U of M. Here's our test. Here's our test. It's pretty darn close. It might be interesting to take a long off this low with signals. Now, that could be a little bit scary on a funded account. I don't do a lot of scalping in my funded account. That's not for me. You know, scalping is hard. I don't have to tell you that, right? Everyone would agree. Scalping is hard. Let's change our MNQ to, we've missed that low. I told you it was going to test that low. I missed it. I had 3 small scalps. Let's work on this Lucid account like lunatics. All right. We'll put our reversal and we'll put our magnet on Lucid, that new account. Okay. Now, let's see what happens here. This will generate a long signal. It's not the best signal to take. The first test of the low is not the best signal. You don't know if we're exhausted yet. We don't know. Our RTY, it's close to testing, to filling to test the low. Are you willing to put your stop above the VWAP and the PP on the RTY? That's a big stop. But that's where it should be if you take a short here. You could use structure right here. Now I'm aggravated. Now I'm extremely aggravated because I didn't trust myself, right? Did not trust myself.
Order submitted.
Okay, so we got our RTY. Let's see. Our stop has to at least be above all that noise. It's got to be. It's a pretty big stop, but it should test the low. It should come close, right? It should get close that if we want to make $100, we should get it. We should get it. Come on. The YM's moving down. The RTY should go down. Let's go. I'd like 100. Give me 100. Right there will give me $100. That'll give me $100. Or I could move my stop to safety. All right. My stop, if it reverses
Order
on me,
filled.
you filthy animal, that was $5. All right. That was $5. So that's a choice I made. I said, I want to move my stop to safety. Now it's going to go and test that frickin' low.
Order
Come on,
submitted.
test this low. At least give me 50 bucks now. I want at least 50 bucks. It should still test that low. If it doesn't, I'm going to scream bloody murder. Come on. Let's try it one more time. Give me at least 10 ticks. I want 10 ticks.
Traders price in 50% chance of a
Let's
Fed
go.
rate increase now by October. So again, that's traders pricing in a 50% chance of a Fed rate
Order
increase
There it
filled.
by
is.
October.
Okay, we got about 12 ticks. Okay, 12 ticks. Now, now I'm a little bit more interested maybe in a long on the MNQ. I'm in Lucid, not funded, so life will not end if I'm wrong. The stop has to be below the low. There is going to be a signal if we get a momentum change. If we don't get a momentum change, no problem. We don't want to enter anyway. You don't want to enter on a non-directional signal. You don't want to enter when the price action and the signal is saying short. You won't get a signal when the momentum stays the same. I predict if I turn on ARS, there would have been a beautiful short signal up here. Watch. I was close. Okay, it was a little bit later than I thought it would be. I thought, let me look. No, that was that second candle. You cannot tell what the momentum is. This is absolutely good momentum. That really I should have just probably turned on my signals. The YM might finally be going to the low. It's hard to say. The YM, I don't trust the YM anymore, right? I just don't trust it. It's just, it's down a lot more than it was, though, off the VWAP. The VWAP short signals have been good. The VWAP short signals were good. We could wait for another VWAP short signal on the YM if you wanted to, right?
Treasury 5-year yield tops 4%
Does
for the
everybody
first time since
understand
July.
what I'm doing here? There's our long.
Order submitted.
So now your stop has to
Order
be, oh,
filled.
it worked already. That worked immediately. That was a good signal. It was momentum, everything perfect. Okay. Why was I interested in taking that? I love signals where new low, new low, new low, new low, new low, like 5 new lows. I don't like a signal off of 1 new low. When it starts to get exhausted, that's when you start to see changes in momentum. And then when you get that signal, bingo, that was a good scalp. That was a good scalp. You got to be fast. You got to be fast. We did not automate the signals yet. That's going to come in the future. Automating signals is scary, right? There's a lot of AI products out there that have automated signals, and almost all of them, if you do the research, they almost all come up as scams. Almost every one of them. I don't know how many, Facebook ads you guys get, Instagram ads that you guys get. I get a
Yield
million
on 2-year
videos
UK
and
gilts hit the
trading
fresh session
products
high.
into my feeds because that's what I click on,
So that's
right?
2-year gilt yields up 17 basis points on the day.
And I've done a lot of research on a lot of them, and most of them come up as scams. But sometimes AI calls a product a scam just because they don't have certified winning and losing test results. And you know what? We don't have certified winning and losing test results. We're not a scam. We are really not a scam. We deliver what we say. We give you the tools. Now look at the RTY. Also had a great signal, and I didn't see it. I missed it. I missed it. That was a good signal. Or was it? The first one was a stop. In theory, that first signal was a stop. Why? Because the stop was below the low. Now, 10 ticks is where it should be at least. Was that 10 ticks below? It might not have been. 13. So, you could have stayed in that trade. If you had faith in the signal, it was a little riskier to stay in that trade. And I'll show you why it was riskier. So let me show you. When you look at this chart here, let's look at this signal. It's very interesting. It teaches a lot. So the signal was correctly given. We made a new low, but remember, that was the first low. I don't like that signal because I want to see a little bit more exhaustion
Short-term
than
rate
that.
futures priced for a
We
likely
really
Fed
didn't
rate
get
hike in December.
exhaustion, but then you got a second signal. If you took the second signal, you would have gotten long, possibly somewhere in this candle, and you would have made a few ticks. Here, you might have lost 10 ticks on that trade. Then if you took the next signal, which clearly is a better signal, and it's followed by momentum continuing in your direction, let's say you would have gotten in towards the top of the candle. Like I said, I always like to take the worst profit level, not the best. 40 ticks on RTY, you might have had a first target of 20, 25. So that would have been very possibly a winning signal. You want to scalp carefully your longs this morning. This market, the world is in a short, if you know what I mean. We are short. The world is short. It's not long right now. If you look at the world like a trade, right now the world's short. We're in the crapper because crazy people are in charge. That's the problem. Crazy people are in charge. Those are the signals, though. You would stay, in theory, this trade you would have been stopped out with a profit. I would have been. I would have had my stop. I would have taken 20 ticks of profit, most probably. I would have
Now
taken 20
confirmation is
ticks of
through
profit.
US
I would have.
officials tell the Newswires here that the US are to deploy thousands of additional troops in the Middle East. Again, that's according to 3 US officials now, previously reported by the Wall Street Journal.
All right, folks. Let's briefly go over what we did at the open. So, MNQ, the breakout was a tiny winner, like 25 bucks. And then we got stopped on our first scalp because the stop was a little small. All right. And then we did a couple of more scalps and we wound up over $128, 128 profit on the MNQ open. Then we did not have a YM trade. We just didn't trigger our low of day or high of day. And we had a winner on the RTY Open, hit both targets in our new Lucid account. And then we had a RTY
The yields on
scalp to the
10-year
low.
UK gilts are up 15 basis points at 5%. That's a fresh post-2008 high.
So we made 280 in our new Lucid account. And did we do anything else? No. So that's an okay open. We'll take it. We'll take it. We're going to close our YouTube stream. Thank you, everyone on YouTube. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell. Definitely subscribe to our channel. Help us out. We'd appreciate it. And we'll see you Monday. Take care on YouTube.